gentlemen. Today we're going to be going over the new One Night in Karazhan cards. It's when I record this, it's August 1st, so that's the cards out. There may be out more by the time this goes up on YouTube, I'm not sure. Okay, so our first card here is a Druid card, the Enchanted Raven, which is a 1 mana 2/2 beast vanilla. It's very good with Mark of the Wild, but Living Roots is better because of its flexibility, and because you get 2 creatures, you can easily... Other cards become more valuable in aggro, such as Savage Roar or Dire Doggy, so I don't know if it might be played as well, but I think Living Roots will be played over. Next card is the Hunter card, Kindly Grandmother, which is 2 mana 1/1 beast, death rattle summon a 3/2 big bad wolf, so which also is beast, so there's a problem here in my opinion. Why would the grandmother be a beast, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. So in my opinion, the grandmother shouldn't be a beast, so to get the beast tag, you should have to kill it, but that doesn't matter. It's a very strong card. It has Death Rattle synergy for N'Zoth, if you want to play N'Zoth Hunter, or it's a good aggro card because it works well with Houndmaster and Kill Commands and other beast cards. Our next card is first of the 2 Mage cards. Babbling Book, 1 mana 1/1 battle cry, add a random mage spell to your hand. It's just a value card. If value mage becomes a thing, it'll be played, otherwise it's pretty pointless because there's just... Mage spells are all generally good, but there's just some of them that are not as good. Like, they're below the average. Just stuff like, if you get something like Ice Lance, it's freeze a minion for 1 mana. If you don't have any other freeze stuff, it doesn't really do anything else, so... There's just some weird mage spells that are very situational, like Forbidden Flame and stuff like that. If you're playing tempo, you won't ever be able to, like, not tempo, mid-range, you won't be able to ever use it, so other than value mage, it won't be too considered, I guess. Our next card is another mage one, Firelands Portal, 7 mana spell, deal 5 damage, summon a random 5-cost minion. So it's 2 mana for 5 damage, which is above par. 2 mana generally is supposed to do 3 with a slight effect, like a Druid has to choose 1, Mage has freeze, right? And then the random 5-cost minion compensates for this, but it'll be used in arena. It'll be picked every single time because it's burn, it's clear, it's hard removal, and you get a minion. It's 2 in 1. It's actually a very good card for arena, but for constructed, there's better options for sure. Ivory Night is our next card. It's Paladin, 6 mana 4/4 battle cry, discover a spell, restore health to your hero equal to its cost. So it's, in my opinion, it's weird how this works. How it says battle cry, discover a spell. Like, why wouldn't it just be, because there's some battle cry affecting cards, like Brand Bond's Beard would double this up. While I thought, do all discover say battle cry discover? I guess they do. Anyways, that's weird to me. It should just say discover a spell, restore health. So stuff like Brand Bond's Beard doesn't get as much value, but it'll be used in control. It's too slow for mid-range, probably, unless you need more healing, but they do have, like, forbidden healing and stuff, so I don't see why. Like, if you really need the healing, you would go... Well, the maximum amount of healing is probably around 8, because you're not going to pick every Fin is Awesome, or whatever it's called. But let's say you pick, like, Lay on Hands, right, so that's 8 healing. Or you might pick a Consecrate that's that's 4, so I'm saying you probably get around 6 usually, average, right? So then if you get 6 average, you're looking at about, well, a heal bot, right, was played almost everything, and this is slightly better stats, I guess, because you get a card out of it, so it's significantly better because it refunds your card, but it's very slow. So if it slows down, it's decent, but otherwise it's like, because if you play a 6-drop that's 4/4, and you're playing against whatever, right, and they play on par 6-drop, you lose, like unless your spell is that good. So if it's a bunch of control decks, this won't be used, because why would you need healing against control decks around this time? Wouldn't you just run forbidden healings, heal for 20 at a time, just skip a turn? And if you're playing a bunch of aggro, this is so slow, so it'd have to be mid-ranged. Okay, our next card is Rogue card, 5 mana, 5/6, which is premium 5 stats, is the best 5 stats without a downside. Battlecry, reduce the cost of cards in your hand from other classes by 2. So you've got the funnel cake guy, you've got Burgle, which I don't know, it might be getting TGT, is it getting rotated out? I'm not sure. If it is, then you have even less, but like let's say you run both hucksters and you get like 1 or 2 off before this. It's a 3 mana 5/6 technically speaking. It could be 4 mana if it's a 1 mana card. You get it to Paladin Secret or something like that, but I don't know. It might be played if you need a 5-drop, you just play this card because it's great stats, and every once in a while you might get the Battlecry activation. Next card is Warlock, 1 mana 1/3. Whenever you discard a card, draw a card. So this will eat your deck pretty fast if you start playing discard stuff. So you have like what? 1 mana you play this, 2 mana you play Succubus, draws you a card. 3 mana. Is there a 3 mana discard? I don't think there is. Well, okay, so 2 mana you play Tiny Knight of Evil. 3 mana you play Succubus and 1-drop, like Flaming Imp or Void Call or something like that. Warlock have a lot of 1-drops, so this should be fine. Right? So technically, you have 1/3, 4/3, and a 4/3, and a 1/3 taunt. So I could see it being used, but you'd have to put the discard cards in your hand, which you don't really want. Okay, next card. Protect the King. For each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 pawn with taunt. So it's an Unleash the Hounds, but instead of charge, they have taunt. I think this will be used, especially with Zoo being as strong as it is now. Zoo decks don't run any board clears, really. Maybe one, but that's rare. And so they just run burst, so this will block like all minion based bursts, so Leroy and stuff, because you just have a whole bunch of small taunts. So if you can play this and brawl, might be good. If it'll make it 50-50 which side of minion survives. So that's a 8 mana 50-50, you have a minion left. So I can see it being used just because it's very needed against Zoo, I guess, for Warrior. Next card is the Curator, at first legendary. It's neutral. Taunt, Battlecry, draw a Beast, Dragon, and Murloc from your deck. So this makes this. So if you Dragon is the easiest. Like if you can't find anything, you just put Alexstrasza, Malygos, Chromagus even, but it was probably going to get rotated out now that I think of it. So like let's say Alexstrasza, so there's your dragon, right? This is obviously a control card. So Alexstrasza, let's say. Murloc, you could have the Cold Lake Oracle, but that's usually used in mill decks and you're drawing 3 cards. So I don't see that, but the Corrupted Seer, I guess, could be put in. And then the Beast, you can run Rhinos, the 5 mana 3/5 destroy minion with 2 or less attack. So I could see this being played, but you'd have to sacrifice some other deck slots, so it'd be give and take. But it'd probably be a great arena card because you'll probably have a beast and maybe one or two dragons, and usually you have around 1 or 0 to 1 Murloc. So next card is also a neutral legendary, 5 mana, 5/6. When the game starts, add 5 legendary minions to your deck. So my question is, does the opponent know you have this card in your deck, right? This card is in your deck, right? It's a demon as well. Oh, so that's interesting. Sacrificial Pack. If everybody plays this card, it'll work. Like, just saying. Don't do it. But basically, so does your opponent know? Yeah, your opponent should know that you have this card in your deck, because your deck will have 5 extra cards. So this deck technically will make mill like good, but will it? Because the meta has to slow down enough for it to be good. But like every control deck should play this, just because if you play against another control deck and they have this card but you don't, the other deck will win, because they will win in fatigue. Like 2 control warriors, one guy has 5 extra cards, he can draw 2 and still have 3 extra cards. Therefore, right, like you'll have also they're legendary, so they're hard to remove. And the thing with control warrior is you want to bait out your opponent's removal on your stuff. So yeah, that'll be used in control probably. Next legendary neutral, 4 mana, 3/4 Barnes. Battlecry, summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. So this is a Yeti that's split over 2 creatures, so against ping classes, Druid, Mage, stuff like that, Rogue, it is not as good, but it's basically a Yeti against the other classes. It's a very good card, especially with silence effects, because if you silence it, it'll turn back into its original stats. So if you just get a big minion, silence it, you can get, like, with the priest 0 mana silence, you can get a 4 mana, like 3/4, and like, let's say on average 5/5 or so minion, which will be a huge tempo swing, especially for a priest that just wants to get the board control so they can constantly heal up all their stuff. Also, you could get a very crucial minion like Rag, but building a deck with only 1 minion wanting to be pulled out isn't smart, because if you think of it, there's a 50% chance you draw the other minion first, so therefore this just won't work half the time. And then you have to actually draw one of the minions if there's only 2 minions in your deck, so like, right, so it's like so inconsistent. But if you rogue, you gang up a minion, then you can put basically any minion you want. But yeah. Next card. What? Oh, what? How did that not come up? Is Moors, 3 mana, 1/1 stealth. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 steward. So it's infinite 1/1s. It reminds me of what's that card called? Dreadsteed in Warlock. Dreadsteed costs 1 mana more, but you can duplicate them with N'Zoth. So it's give and take. But like this card here is very, very slow, but it's infinite value, assuming your opponent doesn't have a board clear. But there is a lot of whirlwind effects in the game now, with like Flamecaller and Mage or whatever it's called, and then there's the Unstable Ghoul and Warrior. So I feel like this just won't get played because there's too much stuff that will remove it that's commoner now. Okay, next card, Bookworm. Rim, it's a dragon, 6 mana, 3/6, Battle's Cry. If you're holding the dragon, destroy an enemy minion with 3 or less attack. So it's a better Coda Rider. It's 1 mana more for 1 more health, and you have to be holding a dragon. But it also has a dragon tag, so that can help your dragon decks. But Blackrock is going out, so dragon decks will be harder to pull off. But it's fairly strong tempo swing, just to outright kill a minion. A lot of minions have 3 or less attack, especially in Zoo. Okay, and that's the end of the video. And one thing you may have noticed, this is the new board here, with the pool of water in the bottom and the alchemy supplies, and then stage, and then a window of some kind with the magic book. So that is the new board. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.